Dongju got into the car with a wounded neck, then he saw Mr. Yum's secretary, Cheon Guho, behind his car. Because he felt that Guho caused the attack, Dongju reversed his car and hit him. Mr. Yum was shocked when he saw Dongju with his secretary in pain. Dongju knelt down and asked Mr. Yum to let him leave. If he was let leave, then Dongju would return everything and disappear. Because Manager Yu had helped Dongju steal money, and not only guarded the funds, the amount of money was 39 billion won. Mr. Yum thought Dongju was a pitiful thief. If Mr. Yum had not tried to get rid of Dongju, then Dongju would have taken it without a trace. But Dongju thought the money would not come back even if he died, so would Mr. Yum let go of the 39 billion won. Then Mr. Yum told Dongju to send the money to the Swiss account right now, because if didn't do that, Dongju would not leave his house alive. Dongju agreed to send 2 billion first and 7 billion after leaving his house safely. Then the rest will be sent by Dongju after his safety is guaranteed. Dongju did that because he almost died before. Dongju sent the money and Guho checked it. After it was successfully sent, he told Mr. Yum, and if Mr. Yum followed Dongju, then he would not send the rest of the money. And Mr. Yum let Dongju leave his house. When he was about to leave, Dongju saw Unnam and Dongju immediately kissed her. He thought he would die without being able to meet Unnam. And Unnam was confused seeing the wounds on Dongju's body. Then they kissed again, and at that time Hichio came and saw Unnam sitting alone. Hichio was worried about Unnam, and when Hichio wanted to check his wife's body, Unnam avoiding him, it seems she is still reluctant to be touched by her husband. Arriving at his house parking lot, Dongju checks his car and he finds a tracking device attached to his car. Then he installs a landline that can prevent wiretapping. Dongju calls a woman. Dongju asks to borrow money and is quite a lot. Then the woman tells Dongju to just come to her place. Dongju leaves by car and the tracking device is attached to the parking lot, so Mr. Yum and his secretary think Dongju is still at home. Dongju tells his friend what happened to him and she invites Dongju to try it. Although Dongju might not be able to pay it off, she guarantees his land in Sejong, so his friend will help him. But she is worried whether the hacking program that Dongju installed on Mr. Yum's computer really works. Dongju explains that the amount of National Patriotism Fund managed by Mr. Yum exceeds 2 trillion won. It turns out that when Dongju sent money to Mr. Yum, he installed a hack on his computer by trying to trick Guho. Dongju successfully installed a hacker on the computer. And when he wanted to start the hacking program, Dongju asked his friend for a cell phone. It was a disposable cell phone, and Dongju asked for 2 cell phones, and then he contacted Mr. Yum using the cell phone. He had sent money to Mr. Yum, then Mr. Yum and his secretary immediately rushed to check it. When Guho entered the password on his computer, they ran the hacker program and Dongju was able to find out the password and remember it in his head. Mr. Yum said that he had received the money and Dongju will contact him again after sending the remaining 30 billion. Before the bakery opened, Dongju visited Ji Yangso and the son of Chairman Cha Ji Seonil. Yangso apparently remembered Dongju because he came with Chairman Cha. Chairman Cha thought Seonil should inherit his surname, but Yangso didn't want that. And even though Yangso refused, Dongju had to hear the answer directly from Seonil. Of course, not now, but one day Dongju will definitely ask, because that's the reason Chairman Cha invited Dongju there, because to show Yangso's existence and her son. Dongju meets Chairman Cha and shows his photos with Seonil. Chairman Cha is curious about what they talked about, and Dongju tells him that they only eat and play together, and Dongju also talks about his childhood. Chairman Cha likes it because they have to be close, that way, Sianu will listen to Dongju later. Then the chairman invites Dongju to eat together, because his son-in-law lost the opportunity to become vice chairman. Chairman Cha thinks eating together can improve the atmosphere. Before going to the banquet, Dongju wants to ask for leave from Chairman Cha, and Chairman Cha agrees because Dongju really needs to rest. When they were going to have a meal together, suddenly Unam came with swollen eyes. Seeing that, her family felt worried. They felt that Hichio was a jerk because he committed domestic violence against Unam. Then Hichio came with his leg in a cast. At first Unam's family thought they had an accident. But it turned out they had a fight and Unam didn't want to go back to Hichio's house. Then Hichio invited Unam to go back home because it was embarrassing, but Unam didn't want to. And at that time Unam's bracelet came off and fell. It turned out that on Unam's wrist there was a tattoo that was the same as Dongju's tattoo. It turned out that Hichio had seen the tattoo on Dongju's wrist, and for a moment the situation became awkward. Dongju saw Hichio coming home accompanied by Taeyun. That means Unam is living at her grandfather's house now, and Dongju went to meet Unam. He was very worried seeing Unam's swollen eyes, and when they hugged, suddenly someone comes. Dongju gives Unam his phone and he rushes away. Her mother and stepfather invite her to drink tea, but Unam prefers alcohol. On their wedding night, Hichio says he sees something strange with Unam and Dongju. He asks about their relationship and Unam doesn't want to lie. When Hichio comments badly about Dongju, Unam doesn't accept it, so they fight. Her mother tells Unam to think about Hichio's feelings. How can Unam defend another man? Actually, Unam agrees to marry because she will receive the Daesan Group shares that Grandpa promised, with the thought that Unam needs it if she wants to defeat her stepfather. And Unam thinks she can let Dongju go without regret, but it turns out that Unam is messed up now. She doesn't know what to do. Her mother is shocked when she gets a message containing photos of Dongju with Sianu. Meanwhile, Dongju starts to carry out his actions. He sends money first to Mr. Yum's account, and when he finished the transaction, he started to change the password of Mr. Yum's Swiss bank. After successfully changing the password, Dongju called his hacker friend. Dongju had paid off the interest, principal, and wages as a hacker and labor, plus a bonus for her. Now Dongju is the only person who knows the password of the 2 trillion won account. And his friend is sure that Mr. Yum will not dare to try to kill Dongju again. Dongju was seen swimming in the middle of the sea. Now all he wants is money and Unam, so he will wait for Unam to come. While waiting for Unam, Dongju saw children playing basketball and also played it with a boy. It turned out that Unam was already there and saw Dongju playing basketball. Then Dongju called Unam and asked where she was, but even though Unam was already there, she answered that she was still at home and would not come. It seemed like she wanted to give surprise to Dongju, but when she wanted to get out of the taxi, suddenly the man came and held her hostage. In the taxi, Unam shouted for Dongju, but Dongju didn't see her. Dongju returned to his cruise ship and continued to wait for Unam there. Then a man came pointing a gun at Dongju and he shot Dongju and only hit his palm. The man tried to shoot again and Dongju jumped off his cruise ship and tried to escape the gunshot. Whether the shot was hit or not, but Dongju sank and did not reappear. It turned out that the man who shot him was Ha Il-do, Unam's stepfather. It turned out that Mr. Yum gave Il-do the order to kill Dongju and he used Mr. Yum's gun. They celebrated the success of handling Dongju by enjoying expensive drinks. Mr. Yum will also send the amount that Ildo asked for from the Swiss account to Ildo's Bahama account right now. They got back the money that Dong-ju stole, so it wasn't a bribe, just a token of gratitude. The amount was also very large. Ildo could use the money as pocket money or investment. When Gu-ho wanted to enter Mr. Yum's bank password, he had difficulty. He always entered the wrong password, then he calling Mr. Yum. According to Gu-ho, it was Dong-ju's doing, because it was similar to the hacking program he found at the institute. Dong-ju must have installed it when sending the money, and Gu-ho apologized to Mr. Yum. Mr. Yum says that Dong-ju stole the National Patriotism Fund. He stole all of Mr. Yum's money, locked it in his head, and ran away. Then Ildo shoots and kills the man worth 2 trillion won. Gu-ho explains that Dong-ju hacked the Swiss account and changed the password. It's an anonymous account, so they can't claim ownership without the 31-character password. Then Mr. Yum tells Ildo to take responsibility, because the cause of this chaos is Deezon's man, Seo Dong-ju. He's Ildo's subordinate. Ildo is confused about where to find that much money. Then Mr. Yum shows something that will motivate Ildo. In this video, Ildo will see all the moments since he rented the boat. All of Ildo's movements were recorded by a drone. Anyone will know that Ha Ildo, the CEO of Daesan Group, is a murderer. And until Ildo finds a solution to refill Mr. Yum's account, Ildo won't be able to get out of there. Ildo must return the 2 trillion money or revive Dong-ju back. A man saw Dong-ju unconscious on the edge of the beach and he took his watch and left it. He returned to his house and prayed for Dong-ju to go peacefully, but suddenly Dong-ju was in front of the door and surprised the man. The man thought Dong-ju was dead and he returned his watch, but Dong-ju fell on the floor of his house. Ildo met Mr. Yum. He will find a way to get the funds he needs. There is a secret slush fund managed by Chairman Cha, and Ildo plans to borrow it for a while. Mr. Yum told him, if he can't find a better way, Daesan Energy will lose a lot, then the bank will ask Ildo to sell it. If Daesan Energy is auctioned and finally sold, then Ildo can make about 1 trillion won. When he saw Chairman Cha eating with his grandchildren, Ildo sneaked into his father-in-law's office. He looked for the secret code that Chairman Cha hid in his book, and finally, Ildo found it. At that time Secretary Gong came in and she felt that there was a book missing, but she let it go and left the office. Then Ildo took a picture of the secret code that he managed to find. Ildo then entered the secret room belonging to Chairman Cha, and he tried to enter the code that he found. But several times he tried, he still entered the wrong code. Ildo was very angry and hoped that Dong-ju could come back to life. And after being treated by the man, Dong-ju finally opened his eyes.